Cowboys Nation, what a wild ride it's been today. If you woke up late, you probably missed half the chaos already because this morning, before most of us even had our coffee, the Dallas Cowboys flipped the NFL upside down. Things kicked off around 7:30 in the morning, Eastern Time, when the Cowboys pulled the trigger on their first move of the day, a trade with the Cincinnati Bengals to bring in linebacker Logan Wilson. The price? Practically nothing. A seventh-round pick in the 2026 draft. That's the kind of low-risk, high-reward deal that you almost can't criticize. It's not a move that transforms the entire defense overnight, but it does add a smart, physical player who knows how to find a football. Wilson isn't a superstar, but he's dependable, and for a late pick years down the line, you take that trade every single time. But of course, that was just the appetizer, because the Cowboys didn't stop there. Not even close. Just a few hours later, boom, a blockbuster deal with the New York Jets sent shockwaves across the league. Dallas landed defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, one of the best interior defenders in the entire NFL. To make that happen, the Cowboys sent Motzi Smith, a second-round pick in this year's draft, and a first-rounder in 2027, the earlier of their own or Green Bay's, to New York. That's a bold move. That's a front office saying, we're all in. You don't trade the kind of draft capital unless you truly believe you're one elite piece away from making a Super Bowl run. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what the Cowboys think Quinnen Williams can be. The missing piece in the middle of that defense. Now, let's be honest, Motzi Smith was a disappointment. He had flashes, but the consistency wasn't there. The Cowboys basically admitted that by sending him out as a flyer in this deal. It's harsh, but it's also the reality of the NFL. Production matters more than potential. And in return, Dallas gets a proven wrecking ball on the defensive line. Quinnen Williams isn't just a name. He's a force. He eats double teams, collapses pockets, and opens up lanes for everyone else to make plays. Pairing him with Osa Odigizwa and Kenny Clark gives Dallas one of the nastiest defensive interiors in football. That's a scary thought for any offense coming to town. The reaction has been mixed, as it always is when you make a big move like this. Some fans love it, others think the price was too steep. But here's the thing, the Cowboys didn't give up their first-round pick this year. They kept that. They also didn't touch their key young offensive players. So while it's a gamble, it's a calculated one. And for a player of Quinnen's caliber, you have to take that swing. This isn't a half-measure type of move. This is a front office showing urgency, something fans have been begging to see for years. And while all this trade madness was happening, the Cowboys were also shuffling the bottom of their roster. Running back Malik Davis, who had just been promoted to the active roster, got released again to make room for Logan Wilson. The guy's been back and forth so many times it's hard to keep count. It's tough because Davis has done everything asked of him, but that's just the brutal side of the business. Assuming he clears waivers, he'll be back on the practice squad soon enough. Still, it's the kind of move that reminds you how fluid the NFL roster really is. One minute you're suiting up, the next you're waiting for a call. As for the running back rotation, that's something to watch. With Malik Davis out, Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue are likely to get more opportunities, depending on how the coaching staff wants to handle the workload. Hunter Luepke remains that hybrid fullback runner option, while Phil Maffa and Miles Sanders are still sitting on injured reserve. It's not the most stable situation, but if the offensive line can keep the holes open, Dallas has enough versatility to make it work. Let's circle back to Logan Wilson for a second. On paper, it's an under-the-radar pickup, but when you think about fit, it actually makes a lot of sense. The Cowboys have struggled to find consistent play at linebacker all season. Kenneth Murray has been hot and cold, and Shamar James, while talented, still needs time to develop. Wilson brings stability. He's smart, instinctive, and has a nose for the football. You don't need him to be Micah Parsons. You just need him to make tackles and help get the defense off the field. When DeMarvion Overshown returns from injury, he and Wilson could easily be your starting duo, giving Dallas some real flexibility in how they use their linebackers. Now, between the two trades, the one for Quinnen Williams is obviously the headline grabber. The guy's a former first-round pick and one of the top interior linemen in the league. He changes how opponents have to game plan against you. If you're an offensive coordinator, good luck figuring out how to block Micah Parsons coming off the edge with Quinnen Williams collapsing the middle. That's a nightmare. And if Dan Quinn can scheme this group correctly, the Cowboys' defense could hit a whole new level. Some folks are wondering whether this deal means someone like Kenny Clark or Osa Odigizwa could be gone next year. It's possible, but that's a problem for the offseason. Right now, this move is about maximizing the window while the defense is still elite and Dak Prescott is still under contract at a reasonable cap number. You can't play scared in this league. You either push your chips to the center or you watch someone else lift the Lombardi. What I really like about these trades is that they show some personality from the front office. Too often the Cowboys have been passive, watching opportunities slip away while other teams make aggressive moves. This time they acted. They saw a chance to improve and they went for it. That's the kind of mindset that fans have been asking for. It's not just talk anymore, it's action. And whether it works out or not, at least they're taking their shot. It also gives us a glimpse into how the coaching staff views this roster. Clearly, they saw a linebacker and defensive tackle as areas that needed immediate upgrades, and they addressed them both in one day. That's not something you see often from this franchise. The message is clear. No one's job is safe if they're not producing. That kind of accountability is how good teams become great ones. And as all these moves settle in, the question everyone's asking is simple. Did the Cowboys just make themselves a true contender? On paper, it sure looks like it. Adding Quinnen Williams to a defense that already features Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, and Darren Bland is almost unfair. That's an elite core, and if the offense can stay consistent, there's no reason this team can't make a deep playoff run. Of course, we've said that before, haven't we? That's the challenge, taking the promise on paper and turning it into wins when it matters. But if you're a Cowboys fan today, you've got to be excited. You've got to feel like this team is serious about chasing greatness right now. No waiting for next year. No more excuses. This is a win-now roster, and Dallas just made 2 moves that prove they know it. All right, Cowboys Nation, let's keep this train rolling because the ripple effects of today's moves are massive, and there's so much more to unpack. Once you step back and look at the entirety of what Dallas pulled off, it's almost hard to believe it all happened in a single day. First, there's the Quinnen Williams trade. On its own, it's headline-worthy. But when you layer in the Logan Wilson pickup and the ripple of roster adjustments that followed, it's clear the front office is playing chess while the rest of the league is still figuring out checkers. Quinnen Williams immediately changes the way the defensive line functions. Think about it. This guy eats double teams for breakfast and collapses the pocket in a way that allows Micah Parsons to roam freely off the edge. Offensive lines are going to have nightmares trying to block both of them. And it's not just about the big plays, either. Williams is a subtle game changer. He occupies blockers, frees up linebackers, and makes it easier for the secondary to execute their schemes. For a defense that has been good but inconsistent at times, adding Quinnen is like flipping the on switch for the front 7. Suddenly, this unit looks like a top 5 defensive line in football, and that's no exaggeration. Now, Logan Wilson might not generate the same buzz, but his addition is just as important in a different way. He's not going to make highlight reels with acrobatic interceptions, but he's a tackling machine who reads plays better than most. For a linebacker room that has seen injuries and rotations all year, Wilson adds stability. Pair him with Shamar James and eventually DeMarvion Overshown, and you've got a unit capable of shutting down multiple fronts without missing a beat. The Cowboys are finally building depth in key areas, and in the NFL, depth wins more games than star power alone. The roster shuffle that followed these trades is also telling. Malik Davis being released to make room for Wilson is just one example. Davis has been a soldier for the team, bouncing between the practice squad and active roster, but that's the brutal reality. The Cowboys are making room for players who they believe can immediately contribute to winning football. That's a mindset that hasn't always been consistent in Dallas, and it's encouraging to see it being enforced now. You can feel a sense of urgency in these moves. The front office isn't just tinkering around the edges, they're going for impact. Looking at the bigger picture, these trades send a clear message. The Cowboys are done waiting for potential, or hope to carry them. They want production. They want immediate results. Bringing in Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson signals that they are fully committed to competing right now, not in some abstract next-year scenario. This is the roster that's supposed to take them deep into the playoffs, and you can see the pieces finally coming together. It also changes the narrative around the team internally. When a team makes big moves, it forces everyone else to step up. Players on the defensive line now know they can't take plays off because Quinnen's presence raises the standard. Linebackers like Kenneth Murray and Shamar James are now competing not just with their teammates, but with a new level of expectation. This is how good teams create accountability. Everyone is measured against the best, and mediocrity gets exposed quickly. From a strategic standpoint, the coaching staff now has more tools to play with. Defensive schemes can become more complex because Williams and Wilson can do things other players couldn't. You can rotate packages, blitz from unexpected angles, and confuse offenses in ways that weren't possible last month. The Cowboys' defensive versatility has just taken a quantum leap forward. Offenses that thought they could game plan their way through Dallas now have to rethink everything. There's also the cap perspective, which matters more than people sometimes realize. The Cowboys managed to add these pieces without mortgaging their entire draft or future flexibility. Sure, the 2027 first-round pick was part of the Quinnen deal, but keeping other high-value picks intact preserves options for future drafts. This is a balance of immediate impact and long-term planning. Exactly what you want from front office. And then there's the emotional factor. Today's trades energize the fan base in a way that hasn't been felt in years. Excitement and optimism are tangible because these moves feel decisive. Cowboys fans have been conditioned to endure off-season promises and playoff disappointments. But today was different. Today was action, not words. The kind of energy this injects into the locker room and the stands can't be overstated. When players feel that urgency and fans respond in kind, it creates momentum that can carry a team through the toughest parts of the season. Let's not overlook the impact on the defensive depth chart either. Before these trades, there were questions about who would start, who would rotate, and whether injuries would expose weaknesses. Now, with Quinnen at tackle and Wilson in the linebacker rotation, Dallas can handle injuries and give younger players a chance to grow without a catastrophic drop in performance. Depth isn't just a luxury. It's insurance against the grueling NFL grind, and Dallas just bought a lot of that insurance in one day. And while the focus is naturally on the defense, there's an indirect effect on the offense too. When the defense can generate pressure and make stops consistently, it takes a ton of stress off Dak Prescott and the skill players. Play action becomes more effective, third down conversions get easier, and you can take more calculated risks because you trust your defense to bail you out if something goes wrong. Football is a game of complementary units, and Dallas just improved their defense in a way that elevates the entire team. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In what could be one of the most shocking twists of the NFL season, the league has reportedly canceled the Cowboys versus Eagles game, sending shockwaves through the football world. Fans across the country woke up to a whirlwind of speculation and disbelief after new footage surfaced suggesting that the controversial game, which had been the talk of sports bars and living rooms alike, may have been marred by blatant officiating irregularities. While the NFL has not released a full statement, insiders suggest that the league is treating the situation with the utmost seriousness, potentially rewriting part of this season's narrative. The game, which initially ended in a dramatic and hard-fought victory for the Cowboys, has been under intense scrutiny for weeks. Social media erupted with clips highlighting questionable calls, bizarre flag placements, and decisions that many analysts are now calling inexplicable. The latest images, allegedly from multiple angles, seem to confirm suspicions that referees may have overlooked critical penalties that could have swung the outcome in favor of the Eagles. Fans have been dissecting every frame, with some claiming that the visuals show clear evidence of a robbery, while others remain skeptical, urging patience for official confirmation. Rumors are already swirling around locker rooms and sports media circles. Some speculate that if the NFL officially nullifies the game, it could set a precedent for how the league handles controversial outcomes in the future, igniting debates about fairness, integrity, and accountability at the highest level of professional football. Both Cowboys and Eagles players have reportedly been caught in a whirlwind of emotions, from anger to disbelief, as they try to process a situation that few could have anticipated. While official word is still pending, the drama has created a frenzy online, with fans and analysts alike offering their takes on what could be one of the most controversial chapters in NFL history. Whether this will lead to replays, fines, or even suspensions remains unclear, but one thing is certain. The Cowboys versus Eagles rivalry just entered a new, unprecedented level of intensity. The football world waits with bated breath for the league's next move, knowing that the fallout from this incident could reverberate for years. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.